In today's video, we're going to be talking about more leaked images that we have of the Mavic 4 Pro. We've also got details on the camera system and how it's going to work vertically, as well as more information about the ill-fated DJI Track product. Let's jump in. So we've got new leaked images from Jasper Ellens over on X, although now I guess Jasper is working for Drone XL, which congratulations. But Jasper has posted some images and then reported on them through Drone XL that we've got production of the body, right? More of the shell that actually go around the outside of it, which we're going to take a little bit of a look at here. And obviously, right, if you're going to be making a new product, you've got components of your product that are going to leak out through parts suppliers and that sort of thing. This is pretty common, especially when you're getting close to releasing a product and it's going into mass production. So we've been talking a lot about the upgrades, design changes, the leaks, the images, all of that from the newest drone from DJI, the Mavic Pro. I can tell you that this thing is bringing a completely new kind of aesthetic and look. It's a little more streamlined, it's a little more compact than the Mavic 3, but it's still bringing that kind of lightweight foldable chassis that we've been seeing in the Mavic series since its debut. So it's not a significant departure in that way, but there are some specific things that DJI is changing here that while we've looked at, I don't think we've let that sink in, specifically related to the placement of the camera. Now, we've talked about the camera and the specs on it and what those changes might be. And obviously, if you look at these photos, you can see they're doing something different with the camera. But traditionally, the gimbal system for the camera sits under the drone body. I've been calling this a roof or a shelf, and that is completely gone. And this imaging system is now completely out in the open. It just brings the whole camera system right out in front and exposes the entire camera module, which brings along with it potential for improved aerodynamics, as well as the space that gives the camera system to do some of the technology upgrades that we've been talking about. But it also potentially makes this thing more vulnerable for strikes and damage, as traditionally the camera system has not gone outside of the drone itself. And so a lot of kind of industry folks are asking, is DJI going to provide some sort of other protection for the gimbal? Like a lens cap? Or are you just going to put a giant sock on the outside? Obviously you can't do that while you're flying. But obviously it says that in this iteration of the Mavic, DJI is ready to kind of move past what we've traditionally seen in their gimbal camera system design. And this is a significant step forward for DJI in terms of camera systems, because not only will it be able to shoot in all of the kind of upgraded ways that we've talked about with its spec improvements, right? Larger sensors on the two zoom cameras, built-in ND, variable aperture on both, just everything is just a little bit better. It's also going to support vertical orientation. And now additional leaks that we have from Jasper Ellens indicate that not only will it be able to go 90 degrees, but it'll be able to go more than 90 degrees. So even at vertical, it'll still be able to tilt, which means that if you're shooting in vertical, you would still potentially get stabilization that is afforded from the gimbal system. It also means that you'll be able to see things without the rotors in view, right? You won't be able to see parts of the drone because this thing is going to stick so far out, you're not going to see any of that stuff, which used to be an issue if you were moving your lens quite a bit. Now, what we don't know yet is whether or not you're able to do that while the camera is in motion, because honestly, I could imagine some pretty interesting drone shots where you actually do like a full rotation and create some sort of like crazy perspective shots. That would be kind of fun and something that people who are probably more creative than I would figure out how to do and make super cool, right? We don't know if this thing will be able to do like full 360. We just know that when it's in vertical orientation, it can go up and down and left and right quite a bit. Like, we'll be able to do cinematic upside down shots. Like, what will be possible with this drone? It just unlocks a lot of really kind of fun and interesting filming and cinematic ideas for creators. And so on the camera itself, spec-wise, right, we're still getting a Hasselblad 4/3 sensor, 20 megapixels. It'll have that 100 megapixel combine mode. We're gonna have that 2.5 and 6x option, the 50 mil, the 145, both at 2.8. Still not 100% sure on the sensor sizes there. I'm anticipating 1/1.3. We've seen 1/1.5. I've heard some people indicate that it might be a 1-inch. I don't think we're going to get that, but I think both will be the same, as opposed to the previous iteration where we had, I think it was a 1/1.7 and a 1/2. And so both of those again come together to improve the low light performance, color reproduction, resolution, clarity, sharpness, right? Nothing but upside for improving the size of the sensor and increasing the aperture. I've heard some rumors on 8K shooting. I don't believe that's going to be the case. I think we're going to get 6K out of here, if only because the 20 megapixel sensor won't support an 8K resolution. And we're also expecting built-in storage at 512 gigabytes on the Pro model and 2 terabytes on the Cine model, with the Cine being able to shoot in ProRes. And I am anticipating an upgrade to the ProRes capacity to ProRes with a 444 subsample option. And I'm very much hoping that the HEVC log codecs on the Pro model support 422, which would be an upgrade from its current 10-bit 420 subsample. The other thing that we've heard a little bit more about on the Mavic Pro is the improvement in the flight times. We had seen previously that they were talking about going up to 50 plus minutes, and we were attributing a lot of that to improvements in the battery size being now 95 to 99 watt hours. But we're now hearing that there's improvements coming to the propellers that may contribute additionally to this added flight time. And as I mentioned earlier when we were talking about the kind of design changes, I think the gimbal design change will increase the aerodynamics of the drone, which will overall improve flight times, as well as other aerodynamic improvements that they've made, and maybe reducing the weight, although we are hearing that the weight would be about the same, about a kilo. We're also seeing that there will be 2 different charging versions available, a 100 watt and a 240 watt version, and maybe even be able to charge 2 batteries at one time and be able to fly 2 batteries in 90 minutes. On the obstacle avoidance system, we're still kind of in the dark about it. Not really sure if we're going to be getting LiDAR like we've seen in 2 previous drone releases from DJI, but if they do add LiDAR here, it will again improve their ability to fly in low light and nighttime environments, at least with being able to avoid collisions. And in the leaked footage that we've had, which I've posted in previous videos, we've seen it flying in a metro environment at night. Also expecting some AI improvements with navigation. Like obviously all of these different areas of the drone's features and capacities will get improvements from the previous generation. And these are designed to prevent crashes in complex environments, urban spaces, right, dense forests, and just places where things are a little bit more unpredictable. The improved 180-degree fisheye lenses, LiDAR, improved AI and machine learned tracking, all of that is going to just generally improve your experience as a person flying these drones and trying to avoid hitting a tree or a building or the ground. Announcement timeframes have been shifting. I think we've seen at some point we saw April, then March. It's mid-March, and I don't think we've heard enough about the potential for release. I think we would have gotten an announcement preview. I think we're now looking squarely into April with probably shipping not until May, and it's gonna run into some shipping problems here in the United States, both with customs and border protection issues that DJI has run into in the past, as well as the potential for a significant increase in pricing as a result of Trump administration tariffs that have been applied to Chinese goods. But we won't know until we actually see it potentially announced. We've seen $2,800 as a projected price point for the Pro and between $4,000 and $5,000 on the Cine, though we don't know if those are taking into account the potential for tariffs. We've also got firmware updates. In other DJI news, we also have firmware updates for Goggles 3, Goggles 2, and the Goggles Integra. These updates add iNav capacity to the Goggles system, which is an open source platform, an open source system that allows for a significant improvement in just the information that you get about your drone and where it is and altitude and positioning and return to home. And all of those features have been improved with this update. And each of these goggles are getting this update with the iNav OSD system. So if safety and precision are something that's important to you, which I hope it is for all of you, go ahead and update your goggles. Lastly, I want to talk about the RC Track. The RC Track was supposed to be released with the Air 3S. And it was designed to be kind of a locator that you could put on your wrist or on your handlebars if you weren't going to have, full access to like a controller. And it was supposed to be something that would allow your drone to better follow you with more precision. And also if it flew behind like a hill or a mountain or trees or a building or somewhere where it couldn't see you directly, but it could continue tracking you using this communication. We saw this back in October as a product that was expected to be released. There were promotional materials that were created for it, showing somebody skiing, and then nothing. And even though it was going to be released with the Air 3S, it was actually something that potentially would have worked with multiple DJI products that involve tracking and that sort of thing. We've been promised by Drone XL's Jasper Ellens that we will be getting more information about that soon. I do have links down below to all the folks who I traditionally follow for this information, but you should also, go ahead and check out Jasper over on Drone XL. Excited for him and whatever this new opportunity is with them that he is doing, because he should absolutely be paid for his hard work. That's it for the DJI news that we have today. I've got memberships available here on the channel. I'll go ahead and put up right here all of the benefits of that. I'm also still doing my Instagram giveaway. I am giving away gear to folks who follow just a couple of instructions that I've given on a video that I will post right here, and I will link down below. So if you're looking for free gear, go ahead and find me over on Instagram. Also, I've got gear lists down below that include all the gear that I use here in the studio, as well as the gear that I use as a working portrait and family photographer, as well as the stuff that I use when I go out doing adventure videos in the wild. And I've got an essentials list of gear that you can use in 2025 to get started as a photographer, videographer, and content creator. Those are affiliate links, so that does help out the channel just a little bit. And a free and easy way to help out the channel is to hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell if you want to be notified when I post new videos. And as always, thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.